everybody individually is walking around as a masterpiece. And we keep thinking that we are discarded clay. And God says, I gave you my best. You are my best. You are my, I now am holding you up as an example before the world about how awesome I am. What's the next one? I am what? Capable. I am what? Invincible. I am what? Not what caused me pain. Oh, that's a whole other series next month. Now here, I am what? Unbreakable. This is well before this keys. I am what? A warrior. I am what? Light. I am what? Worthy. I am what?
Not my age.
I'm telling you that. Praise God. Oh, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. I got to tell you about that. We go home now. And I am loved. So now this is who we are in Christ. So 2 Corinthians 2:14a says at this point, let's read this. Thanks be to God, who always causes us to triumph in Christ. So here's the point. If I'm not seeing triumph, I have to raise the question, I must be out of position. So let me get back in position so I can give a triumph. If all I'm seeing is trouble, and all I'm seeing is tragedy, and all I'm seeing is trials over here, must be out of position because God has promised I always triumph. I always win. I always receive what God has. Please give God one more hand clap of praise in the name of the Lord. So I want to go through this and give us a very quick overview of where we've been. I want to spend time on spiritual principle number 4 today. And again, but I want to build up and just remind us where we've been to lay this foundation very quick. Spiritual principle number 1. What keeps us from believing that we are invincible? First thing, lingering experiences. What does that mean? We recognize that some stuff we failed at before, yesterday, keeps haunting us today. And as a result of what happened yesterday, we are concerned about or fearful for going forward. So the idea that these lingering experiences from the past sometimes keep us from believing that we're invincible. Failure does not mean that because we have failed does not make us a failure. It just means we have not yet succeeded. What's the next one we talk about? Low expectations. People never rise to low expectations. Let a teacher go in into a classroom tomorrow and talk about you're going to make an F. At that point, they've had an expectation so low. I'm talking about finding a kid that always made an F and say, you're going to make an A, and I'm with you every step of the way to be all you've got that God's called to be. We got to start making sure we have some higher expectations, not just for other folk, but for ourselves. That I'm going to always walk in a spirit of knowing that I walk in exceptional excellence, that I am invaluable, that I am at this point incredible, and also invincible as well. And then this idea of limited exposure. What keeps people from believing they're incredible is limited exposure. Let me just give you an example from the camp from last week. What is that? And so now I asked some of the kids that last week, escargot? I'm like, no, escargot. All right, now what happens? That's what it is. So in France, escargot is an appetizer. You don't eat raw. It's an appetizer. And so we now have a partnership with the owners of the Burke Manor Inn in Gibsonville. I think it was rated number 3 in the whole state for being one of the top bread and breakfast locations in the whole state. The co-owner came by he's come back a couple of weeks. But last week when they fed all these kids some snails, and they're still alive. They said, praise God. But he did that because when he brought it up week before last, they didn't know what it was, and he came by and cooked it and prepared it for them. And then some of them going to try to have it eat, and then they'll offer something else that they've already been breathing over it. But the idea was that they had limited exposure. If as a believer, if our camp is about anything, if our ministry is about anything, if our lives will be about anything, it's about saying we're going to try to expose people to something more than they have right now. We are now incredible, and we are now invaluable, and we now also are invincible in the name of the Lord. There has to be some higher exposure. We got to start expecting big, and believing big, and talking big, and fasting big, and at that point trusting that the exposure we've had before may not be all God has for us as well. Say, now repeat this with me again. Through God, I am incredible, invaluable, and invincible. Spiritual principle number 2, very quick. We talk about how do our lives demonstrate that we are invincible. We talked about this already. We said, what's keeping this ship in place? An anchor. And we talked about an anchor keeps things in place. And as believers, we are anchored in Christ. And so anchored means being anchored in Christ simply means we are now positioned. If this is the blessing, if this is the breakthrough, that I'm now in position for the prosperity God has already provided. I'm in position for the blessings God's already provided. I'm in position to receive the overflow God's already provided. Now, we talked before, how do we demonstrate that we are positioned for prosperity and anchored in Christ? The first of all was about our character. Character. And we said character comes from the word that simply means approval through testing. Then in other words, then our character has to be an anchor. Everybody in here is going to be tempted to do something wrong. And it's our character that says at this point right now, character is what? Who you are. When nobody else is looking, God still sees. Everybody in here is going to be tempted. Walking behind somebody, $20 falls out of their pocket. You talking about the blessing of the Lord maketh rich. He has no sorrow. Put it on there. And everybody here end up being tempted and tried. It is the character has to be an anchor. Without character, it is impossible to walk in the spirit of invincibility God's provided for us. Character. Second thing we talked about, church, assembly, ecclesia. And we gave this example before, that tomorrow, this is as an example tomorrow in particular. So tomorrow, if at 8 o'clock you went to the Four Seasons Mall and took your child there and stayed all day long from 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock for the rest of this year, or the rest of up until December, what are you supposed to do? What kids supposed to be tomorrow? It's school. But if you take them to the mall during that time all the time, what are you saying is more important? The mom. Why? That's where you're spending time. That's where you're spending your money. So the idea, so after a while, when it's finally time to go to school, they recognize at that point they don't want to go to school because we have sent the message that it's more important to go to the mall than it is to go to school. Well, same thing here. The church has to be an anchor. We're at this point, not going to let anything stop me from getting the word and receiving the word and believing the word. Let me just make this deal for you. A few years ago, when Sister Wanda and I were at Bennett, a few years ago, we had the president would have dinners with certain faculty members. I was the president of the faculty at that time. And that was one night that Dr. Maya Angelou was going to come by, and she'd invite a handful of people, a few students, to meet with her. But it was on the night, the exact same time we had Bible study. And I just remember at that point, I'm like, oh my gosh, and that's my shiro. I want to have a chance. And I remember at that point, I was like, I can't make it because my anchor is being in the Word. My anchor is being in the Bible. So I can't make it. Now, watch God now. God will always honor your faithfulness.
That's right.
Say it with me. God always honors my faithfulness. So look what happens. So look at God. So we're supposed to have about maybe 15 or 20 people there with Dr. Angelo and have dinner there at the president's house. And I remember distinctly. I remember going in and saying, because I made up in my mind that it's going to be an anchor, that I'm going to be in the Word, that I'm going to be. Even in the hospital last year, I had to be released on time. And then they said, there's an anchor. I got to be here to lift up the Word and be around the people of God, in the place of God, to experience the power of God. There has to be an anchor. Well, that Wednesday came. Dr. Andrew, I didn't have a chance to meet her. The following week, got this email saying that at this point, the real Dr. Cole, Dr. Nether Cole was there. That at this point, they want you to be the escort for Dr. Cole, and I want you to have some private time with Dr. Angelo. So I have a picture right now. That there I am, right there with Dr. Nether Cole, these giant women. I'm talking about also Dr. Angelo, and here I am. I'm like, oh, glory to God, do it. And so I remember stooping down because Dr. Angelo was in a wheelchair. And I was stooping down and saying, it's an honor to meet you. She says, young man, get back up on your feet. Don't you ever bow to anyone except God. I'm like, okay, good to meet you from up here. So but there has to be an anchor. What I'm just saying here is that I cannot go back in and then start spending time elsewhere and not in church. Because if I spend time elsewhere, that sends the message. That's more important than the Word. There's nothing more important than me getting in the Word and have my mind transformed to realize I'm incredible, invaluable, and also invincible. At that point, the church has to be an anchor. But also charity. And I'm not talking about charity about giving stuff away. This is talking about love. And we spent some time talking about how many of us have ever had some folk in life who are hard to love?
Yes.
I need you to pull up too now. I'm just saying that there are people that are hard to love.
Yes.
But charity, agape love, has to be an anchor. God's love is incredible. He says his love is invaluable. His love is invincible. Charity, love, has to be an anchor. Why? God showed his love to us by sending his son to die. And Jesus stayed on the cross. And how did Jesus show he loved us? Just like that. Hanging on the cross. He died for them and for us. And even though sometimes they're hard to love, at some point in life, we've been hard to love too. The idea, some of us have had some times it's been a mess, not just a mess, a hot mess. And I remember even after Grandma last said, they may be a mess, but they're my mess. And that's what God said. They may be a mess, but they're my mess. Even though they are hard to love, I'm still going to love. There has to be an anchor. Then last we talked about at this point, spiritual principles. So the idea about spiritual principles 3 and 4 will be combined. Give us a real quick overview of where we were last week and give us 3 more points under this as well today. What tools has God given us to demonstrate that we are invincible? We have some tools that we can use to remain invincible, to be in position and remain invincible. And last week we took a look at the armor of God here. And we spent some time taking a look at 3 pieces of the armor and going to look at the other pieces today as well. Last week we talked about this shield of faith, And we talked about that the shield, in most cases, would have been almost about this size. And what people would do, they would hide behind the shield so that although the fiery darts were coming, they never penetrated. If you look very closely at this picture here, good picture by the way, if you look very close at the picture, you can see some arrows in the shield. They never penetrated because the shield blocked them from coming. At some point, there has to be a time we stop letting in stuff that should never have been in our lives in the first place.
That's right.
Don't have to pray out what I don't let in.
That's right.
And the word talks about in Ephesians 6, the devil is sending fiery darts all the time. Somebody's talking about it. Somebody doesn't like it. So what do dancers do? Dance. What do singers do? Sing. What do haters do? They just doing this all day. So at some point, I just can't get that stuff get all into me. If you know they hate, don't put yourself in that position. You don't go to the house of somebody to have dinner with somebody who's going to make. Now at some point, it's about saying I'm going to make sure this shield. I'm going to make sure some things remain out there and never penetrate here as well. So we talked about the shield of faith. And we talked about at this point that faith was doing what? Following actively. And we talked about 3 things. So first of all, so faith, it says I'm going to follow actively. I'm not going to be passive about this thing. I'm going to follow actively, first of all, in the what? In the heat. Some of us have been in high pressure situations and still standing. Yes. The 3 Hebrew boys was standing before King Nebuchadnezzar's image, 90 feet high, 9 feet wide. When you hear the music, the king said to bow. They said, we will not bow. And then King Nebuchadnezzar said, at this point, what God is there that can deliver you out of my hands? I'm going to put you in a fiery furnace. And they said, the Lord we serve is able to deliver us from your hands. But if not, still not going to bow. I'm telling you, sometimes you got to start having some but if not kind of faith. I know at this point, some of us have since faith instead of but if not kind of faith. I'm going to serve you since you bless me. I'm going to serve you since you heal me. But now, if I don't see your hand moving, I'm still, but if not, I'm still going to honor you. I may want this, I have not seen it, but if not, I'm still going to praise you. The idea I'm going to follow actively, not only in the heat, also in the hurt. Sometimes you got to pay hurt. Sometimes don't feel like going to practice. Sometimes don't feel like being a husband. Sometimes don't feel like being a wife. Sometimes don't feel like coming. Sometimes just got to play hurt and play through the hurt. And because sometimes every now and then a fiery dart gets through, and we have to keep going anyway. Following after through the heat, the hurt, and also through the harvest. Can you handle being blessed Can you have, you didn't have anything, trust in God, but can you have abundance and still know the source of the abundance?